Final Stop Brazil. Book 2. Life After Hell. Chapter 27. Festa de Samba. 20th of November 2007. A national holiday in Brazil. For me, a very significant day. Dia da Consciência da População Negra. The Day of Consciousness of the Black Population. Somehow I felt to be part of it. Although I'm not black concerning the color of my skin, but my soul always has been. This holiday was a reason for me to love and admire this country. Which other country kept the memory of the dark past? I hardly knew one. Most countries would rather forget the past. As always, I listened this day to my favorite channel, Transcontinental, with a lot of Samba and Pagode, but still with my old radio, which I always managed to repair it until then. Wesley didn't seem to be getting it settled up to send my radio, despite the fact that his name was now on the visitor list. If he couldn't even do that, I didn't trust him much anymore for Semi-Aberto. It had been pretty hard for me to swallow that I was still not free from here. My confidence in Wesley was thoroughly disturbed. In a long letter, I complained to Julia about Wesley, but was annoyed by her reply. She defended Wesley with the argument that he finally had no influence on the decisions of the judges, and it also did not depend on him when decisions were made. I knew all this by myself, but why all these empty promises that he indeed could not keep? So what? Christmas was over for me. I would just ignore everything and try to sleep as much as possible, just to keep me from thinking. If necessary, I had my tranquilizers and my music. However, I was totally set on Semi-Aberto and had bought almost nothing, only a lot of care products, but these I could hardly eat. Well, anyway, I wanted to reduce my weight since I was carrying a few pounds too much with me. It was the consequence of the completely wrong food, biscuits, chocolate, etc., and lack of exercise. Also, I saved a lot of money. On my salary account, I had already 1,000 reais, and in the savings account, 500 reais. Each month, 10% was deducted from the wages. This would ensure a proper samba party, including the clothes I needed and a taxi someday. Of Michael came no more replies to my letters. It made no sense for me to write anymore. Even I didn't know what I should have written. We had become strangers. Michael lived in a different world than I did. We would never again be as close as we once were, if we ever found each other again someday. I repressed this deep pain at those thoughts, but I had to live with it. Fortunately, I felt well, at least in the cell. Edith and May left me in peace when I was in my half of the cell, wanting to be alone, which was mostly the case. I could read, listen to music, when and how I wanted, without stress. If I felt like watching TV or have conversation, I went across to the other half and sat down with them. About cleaning the cell, we had no stress. Everything went smoothly. May cleaned their half, including the bathroom. I gave her the cleaning products, and my half I cleaned myself. The food we took in turns, but May picked up the daily diet food for Dona Edith from Saúde. We both took care together of the old woman, while May took over most of the work to wash the laundry. I brought Dona Edith to work and back to the pavilion and helped her to dress. She had a bad heart condition and could hardly walk, but she was quite clear in the head, and we liked our vovozinha. However, she was rather confused when I listened to the live broadcast of the birthday celebration of Transcontinental. The radio station celebrated its 26th birthday with a 12-hour live show and the best and most famous groups of Samba and Pagode in Brazil. This was for me my Christmas. The show was opened by the queen of the old school samba, Lissy Brandão, and she got the place boiling already. As a huge fan, I could hardly keep my feet still, and got carried away when Art Popular continued the show along with her. This group is also a class of its own. After a break, Pishorti, also one of my favorite bands, came on. I was fascinated, listening, all of it on air, as they welcomed and played with other legendary groups such as Os Travessos and the newcomer group Attitude 4. The atmosphere was at the peak when Sam Prazer played together with Pishorti. Loudly, I sang along with them without noticing how loud. After another break, it was advised that Exalta Samba was preparing for the stage. I freaked out completely. During their show, they proved once again that they are unbeatable. Nothing held me in bed now. Instead, I was dancing on top of it and sang with them all the old hits as well as the new ones. I knew the lyrics of all of them. What this beautiful vocalist, Tiaguinho, did with the female audience was unbelievable. I heard only screams, and when he also took off his shirt to show his bare chest by the end of the show, I heard how it was getting frantic there, and was sad not to be there. I experienced in my life a lot of live shows, but what was going on in the show of Exalta Samba, international stars could never keep up with, and I never saw a show like this. Until the appearance of the band Inimigos da Agape was a delay of 1.5 hours, in which I listened to samba from the tape. This long idle delayed the shows of Sorriso Marotto, Revelação, and Fundo de Quintal, so I finally missed it because I fell asleep. But at least I kept awake until 5 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't sleep long because Sheila woke me Sunday morning at 7 with my coffee. We were reconciled long ago by then, and I paid her 5 reais each month for bringing me my coffee every day. After that, I could not sleep again and felt like on the Sundays in my best times. Laughing, May told me that Donna Edith had asked her, totally worried, what I had probably been doing at night, and if I had talked to someone on the phone. May had explained to her then, no, Rita has no mobile phone. She has just celebrated a private samba party, singing and dancing on the bed. To which Donna Edith calmly replied, well, that's all right then. As a consequence, I had to listen to a lecture about samba and carnival. Tuesday, we had to face another unwelcome visit of the Shocky troupe. In time, you got used to everything, including those brothers. The long sitting, standing, or whatever was very unpleasant. By now, I was smart and pulled 2 sweat and 2 pairs of socks on top of each other so I didn't freeze, because it was once again lousy cold. May, who was only wearing a t-shirt when she was shooed out of the cell barefoot, I could at least postpone my slippers to her, but the sweater I was not allowed to give her. I was very sorry when I saw how she was shaking with cold. After physical checkup came hours of waiting until all the cells were turned upside down and the boys let off steam having fun by finding cell phones and drugs to refill the castigo again. I observed, not without malice, that my former roommates, Rosalie and Tachi, were also being allowed to move into castigo. We were able to return to our cell, where a real hurricane had raged. Donna Edith kept everything and never threw away anything. May possessed at least as much stuff, so it had really been worthwhile. We barely could step with our feet on the ground. Everything was scattered on the floor. To make matters worse, our granny fainted and was hanging on consciousness halfway in the arms of a guard and in mine. Donna Edith was not a lightweight. May took over my part so I could shovel Donna Edith's bed free of all the things the jockeys had thrown on it. The 3 of us shifted Grandma Edith on her bed. She could not breathe and had heart problems. May was waving air for her. I massaged her and gave her sips of water to drink. Then she came by again and fell asleep happily. May and I indulged in a cigarette first. Then she opened a bottle of Coca-Cola to celebrate the last time Shocky for us. At least we hoped. After I realized that even in my half the storm had been raging, and the boxes in which I kept my few stuff fell casualties of the troops. I packed everything in 3 plastic bags and announced, "I'm ready to go," to which May agreed, laughing, that this was the easiest solution. When you are called to go, you just grab your bags and go.